this awkward, tiny little structure on this giant foundation, that's weird. If you have some kind of tiny foundation and you build this, massive structure with some, tiny little roof, that's weird, right? That's not a house. This whole video came about because we've been doing a ton of media here in the Atlanta area, and we've been doing basically second opinion plans for retirement plans. And what we find over and over again is people's financial house is just simply put not in order. They've got a mix of different investment strategies. They've got bank products. They've got insurance products. They've got investment products. They've got money in IRAs, 401ks, Roth accounts, brokerage accounts, pension plans, all over the place. And yet, it's just very obvious that no one ever took the time to sit them down and educate them on how to build their financial house. And so we're having to do a full-blown house remodel on their retirement plan to get them set up to be able to retire when and how they want. And throughout this whole process, what we've found is when you get to that 5-year mark, 5 years within retirement, that is really the sweet spot where you absolutely need to be taking steps to make sure that your financial house is in order. So today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my iPad here, do a little drawing. It's not going to be any good because I'm not an artist. I'm a financial advisor, certified financial planner. But we're going to talk about the financial house, what it is, what it's made up of, and then we're going to break it down further in 2 to 3 more videos, because our whole goal here at Leveraged Wealth is to provide you enough information and education so that you can make good, sound financial decisions with your money. The whole idea is empowering you to live the life you want to live. And we believe that that starts with education. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break down the financial house. We're going to talk about the different phases or the different pieces of the financial house, what's in there, and why it matters. So I'll do my best here to build a house. And by build a house, I mean draw a house. I think we're pretty much close. Maybe we'll put some windows in. I don't know. Some sideways windows. Yeah. And of course, we got a second floor up here. Now, if you do a Google search for financial house, you're going to see all kinds of stuff. I'm not taking this from any one thing that I've seen online, although I did do the Google search just to see what's out there. So I know that what you're about to see is different than anything else you've ever seen, mainly because it's pretty much all coming from my head and I'm thinking about it in my own unique way. And there's going to be some things here that maybe don't fit in the traditional financial house that you might be thinking of. But what we're doing here is we're gearing it towards retirement and empowering you to be able to weather any type of market storm that may come and help you live the life that you want. So when it comes to the financial house, the first thing that obviously we have at the very bottom is the foundation. Now, the foundation, we're going to split this up into essentially 2 different types of vehicles. We have insurance products and we have bank products. We'll break down further in another video exactly what fits into this, to insurance products and to banking products. As most of you well know, you found us by looking for cash value life insurance. Cash value life insurance is absolutely an insurance product and a part of the foundation. But the main part of the foundation, the purpose of the foundation is protection. The foundation is going to be considered safe assets. Let's talk about the purpose of the foundation and then the most important consideration for the foundation. So the purpose of the foundation, if you've ever seen the series Alone, where they drop someone on basically a deserted island and they have to survive as long as possible, they drop a whole bunch of people. Whoever survives the longest wins. If you've ever seen Alone, if you've ever been to a third world country, the idea of a foundation is to keep you off of the dirt. Right? So in Alone, one of the first things that people do is they build a shelter. And one of the things that you want to do when you build a shelter is you want to get up off of the ground. If you go to a third world country, you know that you're dealing with poverty when you see that people's homes are just dirt floors. They're not up off the ground. The purpose of the foundation is to get you up off of the ground. That's why it needs to be safe. That's why it's focused on protection. It's the fail-safe that keeps you from just total abject poverty. Okay, that's the goal of the foundation. Its purpose is to give you confidence, to help you weather the storms that will come and keep you off of the dirt floor. In terms of the most important piece of the foundation, you have to make sure that the size of the foundation, the dimensions of the foundation are large enough to support your total structure. Let me show it to you this way. So we've got our house here, and obviously the house is built, right on top of the foundation. When you're building your house, no one has submitted drawing plans to an architect and says, "Hey, I want you to build my house like this," right? This is not a house. I don't know what this is, right? The foundation has to match this total footprint of the house because everything else is being built on top of the foundation. And so you can't have a tiny foundation and a $50 million Bitcoin portfolio. That's this scenario here. That's not a house. That's some kind of like weird upside down triangle, right? That's not how you build your house. You build your house so that the foundation matches the width of the rest of the structure. And what that means is most of you have too small of a foundation. You've built your house and the walls are bowing outward and the foundation is, down here and small and you're building up and out. You need to make sure the foundation matches the size of the rest of the structure. So that's the foundation. We're going to keep the middle of the structure super simple. We're just going to break it down in terms of short, medium, and long-term investments. So in terms of the meat of the structure, the first floor through the second, third floor, we're talking short-term investments, medium-term investments, and long-term investments. For the purpose of this video, I don't really care what they are. We're not talking about the plan. We're not talking about how much money you should have in tax-free versus tax-deferred versus taxable. That's not the structure. That is actually the drawings of the structure, right? That's the plan. That's the drawings. That's the blueprint. That's not the physical structure. The physical structure is just what's there. So we've got short-term, medium-term, and long-term investments in the middle of the structure. If you want to categorize this with a little bit more context, you might say that the short term is low risk, high liquidity, and the long term might be, highest risk, and you might have limited liquidity. Although you may not, if this is just a stock portfolio, the liquidity is probably the same throughout, but low risk to high risk, high liquidity to limited liquidity, those are all ways to think about the middle of the structure. Short-term, medium-term, and long-term funds, low risk versus high risk, high liquidity versus low liquidity. But again, all of this is built on the foundation. The last piece of this financial house, I almost guarantee you is going to be different than any other financial house you've ever seen. When I think of the roof, I think of the roof similar to the way that I think of the foundation. The roof, to me, the roof and the foundation are kind of the same thing. They're trying to protect you from the elements. The foundation's trying to get you up off the floor to just avoid abject poverty. The foundation's trying to get you up off of the dirt floor. It provides some dignity. It provides a fail-safe. It's kind of like the lowest level that you can go. You know where you're going. You know the worst that it can get. It's the foundation. The roof is kind of doing the same thing, but it's protecting you from things that you have absolutely no control over, like the rain, right? You don't control the weather. I don't control the weather. We both want a roof because we know that we want to stay dry and we can't control the weather. So when I think of the roof in terms of the financial house, I'm thinking of assets that are going to help you mitigate disasters that you can't control. So when I think of the roof, I'm thinking things like gold, crypto. I'm thinking things that are non-correlated assets. You could have real estate on the roof, things that are just not necessarily as susceptible to black swan events, things that are going to help you maintain what you've built. I would add like tax-free money up here. I would add trust work up here. Anything that's essentially protecting your dollars. It's not necessarily the thing that's going to solve all your problems, right? Most people, when they first start investing and saving for the long term, they're not buying gold, because gold is a good store of value, but really its job is to keep pace with inflation, not necessarily make you uber wealthy. The people who are uber wealthy oftentimes own gold because it's a store of value. And if some of their paper investments go away, the gold still has value. It's not the foundation, it's the roof. It's protecting you from things you can't control. I think of crypto in the same way. Not that it doesn't have huge upside potential, but crypto is a thing that's going to protect you from something like maybe the dollar losing its reserve currency. You know, there are things that can happen where crypto kind of solves a problem, but it's a problem you have absolutely no control over. If you want to use it for wealth building, you can. It's the most aggressive, riskiest way to do it. But I think of it in terms of the roof of the structure. So when it comes to your financial house, the most important thing about it is that it actually looks like a house, right? You want your house to look like a house. If all you have is foundation and you've got, this awkward tiny little structure on this giant foundation, that's weird. If you have some kind of tiny foundation and you build this, massive structure with some, tiny little roof, that's weird, right? That's not a house. That's weird. And if you have, a nice foundation and you have a nice middle structure, and then all of a sudden you just have this like monstrosity of a roof, that's weird too. None of these things look like houses. They all look like some perversion of a house. The most important thing about your financial house is that it actually looks like a house. The roof is the right size. It covers the structure. The foundation is the right size. It supports the structure. The middle of the structure is the right size. It's keeping everything in a nice, neat package. Its purpose is to help you live the life that you want to live. Your house can be big, your house can be small, but it's always going to look like a house. And that's what's important about your financial house, that it looks like a house. We've done well over 1,000 second opinion financial plan reviews. And what we've found is most people have a foundation that is way too small. A lot of people have a roof that is either non-existent or way too big. And most people that come to us are carrying way too much weight around their middle section. The middle structure is just simply put too large. They have almost all of their assets sitting in some kind of like short, medium, long-term risk-based investment in the stock market, which isn't going to protect them from things they can't control. And if things go poorly, they have no foundation. They could be sleeping on a dirt floor. So the idea is, let's get your financial house in order. Let's make sure the foundation matches the rest of the structure. Let's make sure you have a roof that covers what you've safely built. And let's make sure that you're taking the right amount of risk in the right vehicles in the middle of your structure. This is what we do on a day in and day out basis. If you'd like more help with this, we've got a couple more videos coming that explain exactly how these things fit together. And it goes in more detail on the different pieces of the structure. If you know that your financial house is just simply put not in order, and you'd like to engage us for a second opinion or maybe a first opinion, then I'd encourage you to go to our website, leveragedwm.com. Up at the top of the screen, you'll see book a meeting. You can go there. It'll ask you a few questions, and you can book a quick, no obligation discovery call with a member of our team, where the goal is to get to know you, understand what it is that you're hoping to achieve, and figure out if you like us and if we like you, and if you think that we can help you out, then we will do that for you. So go to our website, leveragedwm.com. You'll see book a meeting at the top if you need to take action on getting your financial house in order. Until next time, take care.